I would like to call the meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. If you would, please rise and join me in the pledge. Texas flag. If you would please remain standing. Trustee Moore, would you please word of prayer?
Glad to. If y'all all bow your heads, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together to show our concern and our support for the youth of this community and for the Bastrop Independent School District. We'd like to thank you for this beautiful weather and for our health, and thank also of those who are not having such a wonderful time, and that we may help them and be aware of their needs and be there for them. Give us wisdom to make proper decisions. Give us compassion to take care of one another. For it is in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. At this time, I'd like to introduce our student speaker on character education. The trait for March is self-reliance. Claire Natal, a fourth grader at Bluebonnet Elementary, will speak this evening on self-reliance. Claire is a very athletic and enjoys playing football and running track. When playing football, she prefers the position of running back and wide receiver because she is pretty fast. When Claire grows up, she says she, in all caps, will be great. She wants to be something bigger than herself. She will be a soldier.
Right.
Claire, it's all yours. There's the microphone.
Self-reliance means taking responsibility for what you're responsible for. Like, I rely on myself to make sure my mom checks and signs my folder. I rely on myself to make good grades, and in order to do that, I have to be responsible enough to pay attention in class and ask questions when I need to. Through self-reliance, you can meet your goals because you take personal responsibility for every action and everything you need to get where you want to be, like A on a roll, the military, or graduating from college. Self-reliance doesn't mean that I don't need any help. It means that I can rely on myself to do something right or rely on myself to have the courage to ask help. For example, I rely on myself to not get in trouble by making good choices, like doing my chores so I don't get in trouble. Also, it's like my mom having to tell me to do my chores, but I can already do it. Self-reliance basically means being responsible of your own stuff and your actions.
Great. Have a little bit more.
Self-reliance basically means depending on yourself, reaching your goal, and using your own brain, not anyone's except for yours. Like to me, self-reliance means being responsible for what you're responsible of, like your abilities, your stuff, and your actions. Self-reliance to me basically means part of success. Thank you for your time, folks. Have a wonderful day and have a safe drive home.
Claire, you're going to be a great soldier because that was something that was very brave to do. And thank you very, very much for coming out here tonight. We're very proud of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Claire.
Is Claire's parents in the room? They'd wave or? Thank you very much. Thank you. Can you hand the microphone to Sarah there? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. At this time, Mr. Murray, would you introduce the Student Advisory Council, please?
Yeah, love to. Each month at our regularly scheduled board meetings, we have students from our two high school student advisory councils, both Bastrop High School, which includes Circa and Genesis, and Cedar Creek High School. And tonight we have all seniors. This may be their last shot to come sit with the board. They get to meet with me tomorrow. We have a meeting at Cedar Creek tomorrow, and then I'll meet with Bastrop SSAC on Friday. But we're glad the seniors are here, and I've got Heath Jones. We're gonna let Heath stand up and say a little bit about himself. Heath?
Hello, my name is Heath. I've been on the council for 2 years. What I want to do after high school is go to ACC and do photography and acting. So.
All right, great job.
Great.
There you go. I'll go back to Adriana. Jenny's not ready yet.
My name is Adriana Razzo. I'm a senior. I've been on the council for 2 years now. My goals after high school are to go to college, not too sure where yet, and get a degree in business administration to open up my own company in photography. And yeah, that's about it.
And you shared with me earlier tonight that you're selling artwork now.
I am. I'm selling my artwork.
Adriana is an outstanding artist.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. All right, Jenny, now you gotta go.
I'm Genesis Mendoza. I have been in the council for 2 years. I'm a senior, and after high school, I'm going to Texas State University and majoring in radiation therapy.
All right. Those three students were from Cedar Creek High School, and we have one senior from Bastrop High School, Sarah Diaz.
Hi, thank you. My name's Sarah Diaz. I've been on Steve Murray's council 2 or 3 years. I think I joined when I was a sophomore, so this will be the end of my second year. I'm going to the University of Texas in Austin. I'm majoring in nursing and hopefully will specialize in labor and delivery.
Wow.
All right. Thanks for being here. We're gonna ask you some questions later on. You ready?
No, I have one
Oh, there you
for Adriana. I see your sweatshirt you have on, and I like it. You think the Cowboys are going to be okay without Tony?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, good, all right.
No hesitation.
No hesitation, all right, that's what we like.
No loss.
All right, Mr. Murray, would you lead us through the special recognitions, please?
We have lots of recognition tonight. We really love that. The majority of our meetings is really about recognition of our students and our staff, and I'm going to have some people help us tonight. First, we're going to get some help from principal at Cedar Creek High School, Bridget Cornelius. Let's give Bridget a round of applause.
Thank you, Jason. I am delighted to recognize our Cedar Creek High School cheerleaders who received an invitation to compete at the UCA National High School Cheerleading Championship in Orlando, Florida. This is a first in CCH's history, so we're very proud of them. They're under the direction of Coach Love, so I'll ask Coach Angela Love to come up and introduce the girls who are here to represent.
Hello, everyone. We have a few girls here to represent us. First up, we have Tori Blybe-Troy. Yes. And we also have Maddie Terrazes. Stand up. Go ahead. We want to see you. And Natalie Grimaldo and Ariana Alvarado. These girls have worked really, really hard, and I'm very proud of them. And actually, it was a first for BISD, which I'm sure you guys saw that on social media. I posted it quite a bit. So we're super, super proud, and we're just hoping to grow each year. And we love them, and we're so proud of them. And thank you for having us here this evening. Appreciate it.
The girls helped me a couple weeks ago do a Superintendent's Update. Did a great job with me. Did a little filming. Appreciated that. Now we have Jackie Wanick is going to talk about Silver Stars.
Silver Stars.
Good evening. They're going to file in here in a second. I have the honor of introducing some very dedicated athletes to you tonight. The lady walking in front is Pam Klein. She's our head of delegation for Bastrop Silver Stars. It's our Special Olympics sports team here in Bastrop ISD. We pull from all campuses across the district, and ages 8 and up are able to participate in the sports that we offer. So I'm just going to start with a few highlights. Hi, Brandon. Hey. Brandon really likes to talk on the microphone, but he gave it back in a very short amount of time, so that's good. Thank you, Brandon. All right. So I do want to highlight some of our accomplishments. Did he turn this down, or y'all can still hear me? From this school year so far. Tonight, we'd like to recognize our basketball team as well as our bowling teams. We are currently competing, practicing for competition in cycling, which is bicycling, as well as athletics, which is equivalent to track and field. We're excited. Brandon likes that. So I do want to highlight, before we get into that, this year, Pam as our head of delegates and Lana Roosh as one of our head bowling coaches, coordinated and ran a local area scrimmage at Lost Pines 8 on January 23rd. So I want to thank a few people for that, obviously, athletes and parents and coaches, as well as Lost Pines management, and then BHS, I see Brad. You didn't know this was coming, but the PALS program at Bastrop High School made posters, spirit posters, and posted them across the campus. So it definitely promotes inclusion and support of our teams. And then we also had Alicia Curry with her cheerleading team out, and they ran like what are the tunnels that you run through at the beginning, and they also helped facilitate the scoring and getting the kids up to the lane to bowl. So we appreciate them coming in and supporting us. I would also like to highlight a few things coming up soon. We have our cycling competition on April 8th. That's going to be at the Circuit of the Americas, so that's really exciting. And then we are having our annual track and field scrimmage at Memorial Stadium on Friday, April 28th. So you'll see correspondence for that coming out soon. We'd love any support or attendance from any of you. So without delaying any further, I want to introduce our head of delegation, Pam Klein. She's going to introduce our athletes.
Thank you, Jackie. We have Riley Dunn. Riley, if you'll wave for us. He competed in area bowling and state bowling and competed in basketball. We have Brandon Longwell. Brandon, there's Brandon. He did area bowling and, well, the kids are also practicing right now for track and field and cycling and track and field. We have Rebecca Purdy. Becca. She did area bowling, state bowling, and basketball. Matthew Richardson. He's looking up for us. Area bowling and state bowling. We have Cheyenne Roosh. Area bowling, state bowling, and basketball. We have Dakota Sargent. Area bowling. Jasmine, we have area bowling and state bowling. Jasmine. She didn't raise her hand. And we have Chelsea Wood for area bowling and state bowling. And basketball. And we have Nathan Brown, which participated in area and state bowling. And Emma Gilstrap, which participated in area bowling and state bowling. There she is. And I want to say thank you to Lana Roosh, which is our head coach for bowling. And we have some new coaches this year that's helping us out. We have Lauren, where's she at? There she is. Lauren Farrington. It's our new basketball coach this year. And then, of course, Derek and Jackie, which always supports us so wonderfully. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Great job.
Great job.
Thank you. Great job.
Brandon is fired up.
Can we have him at every meeting, Steve?
Yeah, really.
Take the mic.
Prayer.
Mr. Jones.
Come on, Coach, see if you can follow that.
I don't know how I follow that. That's going to be tough. Good evening. Wanted to say we appreciate everything you're doing. We have brought the Bastrop Lady Bears basketball team who went to the playoffs, and I have Coach Henry to recognize them. Coach Henry.
Hey everyone, thanks for your support all season for our team. As a lot of you guys know, we were in a much tougher district this year, and our girls show a lot of resilience in their ability to really push through and still compete well. We went 23-13 overall. We're 9-7 in district. We won a couple tournaments this year, and just had a great year overall. A couple skids where we lost a few in a row, but thanks to my seniors and the girls that have been with me for a while, we kept the faith and we kept trucking, and we almost got through the first round against Tomball Memorial. I think some of you guys were there. That environment was great, and we almost pulled that out. So thanks for your support. And I just want to introduce the girls that were able to come. As you guys know, we encourage our girls to do a lot of multiple sports, so we got some out with golf, some softball, and then you don't mess with Coach Mayberry's track schedule. So I think some of the girls are still running on the track. But over here we have Kuaisha Alsop, freshman point guard for us. Good, she's going to be with me for 3 years. I don't know if she likes that or not, but she's going to have to deal with it. Pania Waits, who's also on the Student Advisory Council, right? Yes. Superintendent's Advisory Council.
I got a seat for you right there.
In the middle is Amanda Bernaski. Amanda's a sophomore, so she's got to deal with me for a long time after this. Felicity Kelly, another sophomore, posts for us. And the lady at the end that helped us go, our engine, Kaya Tarver. I just want to make you guys aware of a few individual achievements the girls in here have made. Kuaisha, Felicity, and Amanda, and I think Pania too, got academic all district. So that means they carried a 90 or better GPA during the basketball season. Oh, and Kaya did too. I don't know if I mentioned you or not. And then a big award as a player, Kaya was named to the TGCA, Texas Girls Coaching Association All-State Team for the 5A. Oh, wow. So again, thanks for your support all year long, and looking forward to getting back after it after track's over.
And also, Kaya has signed a letter of intent to go to Dillard University in New Orleans on a basketball scholarship. So we're really excited, and we'll meet you guys right out here for pictures. One note, so you know, on the soccer matches, both our soccer teams from Cedar Creek are in the playoffs. So the girls were originally scheduled to play Friday, but because they were playing on grass and the weather is supposed to be bad, we have moved that game to Thursday, same site in Brenham at the park there at 8 p.m. The boys will continue to play at Friday. They're on turf in Waller. So that'll be the first round playoff game. So thank you.
Les, you're next.
Mr. Murray, members of the board, I am so proud to be able to introduce at this time our Skills USA team that competed in the automotive contest earlier this year, and all the members that competed are now going to state. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jimmy Cunningham.
Good afternoon. Thank y'all. Appreciate all the support, Mr. Hudson, the board, and administration. We have 3 young gentlemen that have qualified for state contest April the 5th through the 9th in Corpus Christi, one of which is here with me tonight. Isaiah Munoz is here. He'll be competing in mobile electronics installation and then a written test that he'll take. We have 2 more that are working and couldn't be here. Carter Sims will be competing in the mobile electronics as well as customer service, and Ashton Millard will be competing in marine service. So we appreciate them. We're real proud of them and proud of the job they've done for us. Thank y'all.
Mr. Conrarty's he's back there behind the door. Nobody can hear me. Oh, somebody tell yeah, Martin, he's up. You're up, Martin.
Remember, do not talk and go over there on the wall. Otherwise, we're going to clown. Thank you, you guys. All right, I think we're set. Good evening. We're very, very proud, and I'm going to speak very shortly here, of the accomplishments and the lasting impact that the Circa Speak Up, Speak Out team is making on the community of Bastrop. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Megan Brandon, who is the sponsor, as well as 3 of our leads, Shelby Rose, Francis Ramirez, and Austin Nunez. So here you go, Ms. Brandon.
Good evening. My name is Megan Brandon. I'm the Speak Up, Speak Out sponsor at Circa. I think some of you are familiar, but SUSO is a civic-based competition that is sponsored through the Annette Strauss Institute at UT. So this is the majority of my SUSO team from the fall, and I'm going to pass it over to the students behind me to talk about our winning project, Stories from the Streets.
When planning for SUSO, we wanted to do something that not only affected our community, but also had an impact on the world as a whole. Using this criteria, we decided that improving people's perceptions of the homeless population was an appropriate and pertinent choice, as throughout the past few years, the number of homeless people in Central Texas has grown substantially. Our interest was sparked for this topic when an Austin American-Statesman article detailed that a local Bastrop soup kitchen was denied the right to relocate and accommodate the growing population of homeless people. In order to achieve our goals, we began our mission by visiting our local soup kitchen and food pantry, the Open Door Soup Kitchen. Founded by Pastor Nava, who himself was previously homeless, the soup kitchen's goal is to help the homeless in Bastrop get back on their feet. We interviewed Pastor Nava in order to understand his story. Pastor Nava shed some light on the struggles of homelessness. We went back several times in order to interview some of the patrons who frequented the facility. Those we interviewed included Jimmy, 64, Jason, 42, Dee 78, and Chito, 49. We then created a website to spread some of the stories we had gathered from our interviews at the soup kitchen, and reached out to Miracle Messages, an organization dedicated to reuniting the homeless with their families through social media.
Alrighty, we have a short video queued up to, we made it to summarize what our project is all about, and if we're ready, we can play that.
Valid concerns. I have valid concerns. But someone went out ahead.
There's 2 sides to that because they don't know, who's coming into their neighborhood. Everybody needs places to live. There's just something wrong. There's something wrong when somebody's sleeping under a bridge. There's just something fundamentally wrong.
Thank y'all. Megan, also, there's lots of things going on at Circle. We know that. You just got finished taking how many students?
17 students.
17 students. And where'd y'all go?
We went all across Italy.
Went to Italy. That's
We
right.
just got back, so we're all
I kept up with y'all on Facebook.
a little sleep deprived.
Yeah.
All 17 are back?
Yes, everyone is back. If I could have left some, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and also I get to come over to Circa tomorrow and be interviewed by some of the students, so I appreciate that. Yeah, they're doing great work over at Circa. Congratulations, y'all. They're great job.
Real quick, I want to introduce the rest of the kids.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go right down the line here. We got Jacob Morrow, Natalia De Paz, Esteban Lozano, Brittany Gibson, Kieran Dunn, Mark Alger, Alyssa Brooks, Jessica Tran, Sarai Pais, Roque Pena. I always get mixed up with Pena and Pena. Okay, he's Pena, and Tyler Latouche. So, and you met the three here. So that's our team. Thank you.
Talia, Kieran, we got seats over here. Yeah, if you want to come join us, come on.
Oh, I'll go.
Then come join us.
Thank you all for your hard work.
Great job, y'all.
Very good job.
And we're going to have Bridget get back up. Bridget, we ask our principals and some of the other folks from the district to go to the chamber luncheon each month and do a spotlight on their department or their, in this case, their campus. Bridget did an outstanding job. I understand I was not able to be there, but she did an outstanding job, as she always does. And then we asked that same principal or person to come do the spotlight for us here at the board meeting. So Bridget.
All righty. Thank you all so much. Thank you, school board and Mr. Murray, for giving me an opportunity to just highlight a few great things going on at Cedar Creek High School right now. And I'll tell you, when asked to highlight just a few things, I mean, it's difficult because you see every day there are great things going on at Cedar Creek High School. I wish that you guys got an opportunity to really, really see, to walk the halls of a comprehensive high school with 1,415 students from different backgrounds and experiences, to see them come together and collaborate and work together and work to solve problems creatively and ethically. It's amazing and it's empowering, especially in this day and age when public schools are getting such a bad rap. I wish that more people could really walk the halls and see what it's like inside of a public high school in Bastrop ISD. It's amazing. But unfortunately, you know, people don't hear that. They don't hear about all the great things going on and about how fabulous our students are. But there's so much good going on. I'd like to start out by saying, just a note, as we reflect on last year, that last year our seniors received over $3 million in scholarships and military educational benefits. We are doing great things, and we plan to exceed that this year. We're doing great things at CCHS. I'd like to name just a few more recent highlights. As Bob Jones mentioned, both of our soccer teams are advancing to playoffs and are playing this week. We're really excited about that and supporting them. A few weeks ago, our CCHS indoor drum line competed at their second, I want to get this right, TCGC contest at Bowie High School. The drumline performed well and brought home a first place trophy to add to the collection. I'd like to note that CCHS has been open since 2010, and we are making history every single year and doing great things. Also, this year, CCHS had their first ever all-state band student, Devin James, earned a spot in the Texas Music Educators Association All-State Band. Our Devin was first chair at the area auditions held at the University of Texas in Austin in January. So we're very, very proud of him as well. As previously highlighted, our fabulous cheerleaders received an invitation to compete at the National High School Cheerleading Championship in Orlando, Florida. Again, this is another first in Cedar Creek High School history. Just a few short weeks ago, our color guard finished second in a competition, and you're like, oh, second. Well, this is our second year having a color guard. So for them to compete against 11 different schools and much larger schools with much more money and accolades and experiences, but to have them show up and show out like that in such a short time is amazing. Once again, and I know you guys have heard about this a lot, but this year, our phenomenal student council took the lead and again, organizing all of BISD and donated $23,000 to St. Jude's Children's Hospital through our Hope Strong campaign. This was certainly a collaborative effort, but I must say that our student council takes the lead on organizing that and helping the lives of many children and their families. We're also proud of our First Tech Challenge robotics team. This is their first year in existence, very small team, but are doing great things and competing. In fact, they ranked higher than 7 teams this year. Small team, working hard up there on Saturdays, organized by and supported by parents. It's a great team, and so we're looking on expanding. Additionally, in April, the Cedar Creek Student Council is leading the charge in hosting the Texas Association of Student Councils annual conference in Arlington. We're really excited about that. This is a very big deal. This is the largest conference of its kind. There are over 5,000 students and advisors from across the nation who will be there. We have partnered and asked help from others, but again, Cedar Creek High School is taking the lead and taking the charge. So we're very excited and proud of our students and sponsors for taking on this monumental task and leadership role, and for the support of the superintendent and the collaboration with Bastrop High School leading this charge and helping provide our students with such great opportunities to be leaders. And that's just a few. That's just a few, and those are recent. That's a recent few. And as you can see, there's so much to celebrate. And I can go on and on about how amazing my students are and the professional learning community at CCHS and how dedicated our teachers and faculty and staff are. But I can show you better than I can tell you. Please take a look at this short video produced by our talented audio-video students. These are our kids. This is Cedar Creek High School, and these are the highlights. Just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to take a look at that video, and again, to highlight that our kids did that. They recorded that and produced that and sent that on. And as you see at the end of the video, where the kids are chanting that we believe that we will win, we believe that. We believe that at Cedar Creek High School and in Bastrop ISD that we will win, our kids will be successful, we will continue to provide them with meaningful opportunities and lasting memories to take with them. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Bridget, we look forward to having our meeting there next month. So we always do that once a year. So I don't know if you know that yet. We'll be there. All right. Surprise. We're giving, exactly.
I told somebody this week to tell you. It wasn't him.
I'd like to ask our students for a minute, or just to think for a minute about everything that's just happened at the school board meeting. And listening to Ms. Cornelius talk about Cedar Creek High School and then also Circa, and we didn't have anything, or in Bastrop High School. I want to know what your thoughts are right now, and how do we get these stories out to the community? Because I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, this is the best place in the world to be. And I just would like to hear some of your reflections of what you've just observed at this meeting tonight. you're getting ready to leave, and you're absorbed in it. You live there, and you just maybe this is the way it is. But for someone on the outside to observe and hear all of these accolades and the wonderful things that are going on, just what are you thinking about?
Well, I've been going to BISD since I moved here, which was kindergarten. I've grown up with the exact same people all my years of high school, even daycare. And after watching that video, kind of makes me sad because it is my last year. I only have a couple months left. But for me, what's always seemed important is reaching out more to the community as students, like ourselves. I'm the thespian president at Bastrop High School, and I've always made it like a significant, important thing for us to go out and volunteer and reach out to the community, as groups within our high school, because they're not coming to our school. We have to go to them, So as far as social media goes, I don't know how many older people are on social media these days. But yeah, I do think
A few us.
I do think it's significantly important to volunteer and reach out more within your community as students. And I will try to encourage it as much in my last couple months as I can.
Thank you, Sarah. Anybody else?
With me, honestly, going to high school was something I didn't want to do. I dreaded it. Because growing up watching those movies, you just think like high school's gonna be awful. But Cedar Creek is actually a school I'm proud to say that I go to. It's so involved, and the people, everyone's so friendly. You walk down the hallways, people greet you, and it feels safe. Like, it's safe to say that I feel safe in my school, and I'm getting the best education that I can get in a public setting. And I'm the president of Art Club and our Go Force, which is a college-bound organization. And volunteering in our community is something that always brings me pride, because I feel like we're giving back and we're doing more, and then they recognize that students are actually wanting to do more. And I feel like when we volunteer, a piece of us is put into the community.
Thank you. Yes. Very good. Natalia.
I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for, but I'm more like a, let's say, for us to be known or something, for like older people or professionals to be noticing us. The SUSO team actually goes and competes, right? So we show our project and we show what we care about, what we're passionate about, what we want to do and change. And these professionals who judge us actually it's all about networking for me, basically. And when these people see that we are trying to make an impact in this small community that we have, they try to help us as much as possible. If they see that we're passionate about it, and that they see that we actually want to implement something. And so I think it's all about networking and knowing the right people.
But all of you really are ambassadors of, in what you're doing in the volunteer work and everything that you're doing to reach out, as you said, to the community. So thank you for that.
I can say that a word or story from any one of y'all carries a lot more weight than anything that we can show in graphs and charts and everything like that, as far as meaningful to this community, because the community is really passionate about supporting you as individuals, and we're passionate about supporting the system to help you be as successful as you can. But I think one reason why some of us older people, which I've heard that twice now, beginning to wonder who you're talking about, but that we almost, I don't know, envy or incapable or whatever, but you guys, y'all are like communicating 24/7, and you have, like you said, the networking, and you have this way of sharing information, getting information around. It used to be, the gossip system in town was a pretty quick system. I mean, it was faster than newspaper. But with the way that y'all have adopted and adapted to this new environment with social media, and just with I mean, that's a tool, but y'all have embraced it as a way of sharing yourselves with each other. And, you know, it opens up some possibilities for bad things to happen sometimes, and bullying and things like that. But it's a great opportunity to hear from y'all in the larger community, because yeah, if we could get the people, you know, like Ms. Cornelius said, if we could get the people in this community to walk through the halls and see what y'all are doing, feel the experience and the energy of what y'all are doing, there's no doubt but that they'd be 100% convinced that they're not getting the whole story by what they see on the TV or hear on the, you know, that people don't listen to radio anymore. See, there's that older good person thing talking again. But, so I really appreciate what y'all do to reach out in the community. And I guess I would challenge you to take that forward to the next level, because you're gonna have an even a greater opportunity and a larger community to reach out to. And I think we're all better knowing you, and appreciate that.
Student Advisory Council members know this because we talk about it all the time. It just kind of happens inherently. We don't really talk about it overtly as much, but they are representative of the entire student body and the entire district, because the chance that they get to meet with me once a month, the chance they get to come as they are tonight, meeting with the board, is kind of unheard of. It really is. I thought it was neat, you know, Bridget brought this up. We are very proud that Cedar Creek and Bastrop assisting, and 2 or 3 other high schools in the Central Texas area are gonna host this statewide student council conference with over 5,000 attendees. And I was doing the welcome letter for it that'll go in the program, and then I was doing my opening remarks, and I was thinking, you know, what better district and school than Bastrop and Cedar Creek and Bastrop High School to host this than us, because I don't believe any other school district in the state engages students the way that Bastrop ISD engages students, with the way they come each month to the board meeting, how hopefully they interact with me once a month, and they don't know it as much, but what I get from them each month really directs me quite a bit on what I do as superintendent. But so I wrote it in the letter to that extent that it was really fitting that we were hosting, because we are really in tune with our students. We try to be. I talk about us seeing school through the students' eyes. That's the way I coin it sometimes, but and I hope they agree, because we do get a lot done. We have a good time, we laugh, we cut up, but we have a really good time, and we talk about things that are very important to them. And I hope that they feel, since except for Natalia, they're all seniors, I hope that they feel that this experience, getting to sit here tonight, getting to meet with the superintendent once a month, and hopefully changing some things in your school, has really enriched your school experience. That's what I hope. You know, that's why we do it. I mean, anybody can give you pizza, right? But that we actually get something accomplished. So I just thought about that when Bridget was talking about us hosting that, because I was thinking, because I told them about in the welcome remarks, I talked about how synonymous student council is in a different sense with what we do, because you're there representing the entire student body. Student council does that, student advisory council does that. So it was really neat, and I really enjoyed being able to write that letter, and then also we'll have a lot of fun standing in front of those 5,000 folks and doing my welcome address. It'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you. Ms. Barrentos, do we have anybody signed up for open forum? All right, thank you very much. At this time, Mr. Murray, will you go through your report, please?
Yeah, we're gonna go straight to, I think we got a small budget presentation or information from Sandra. Sandra, you up?
Budget or your
Not always.
presentation?
Both the presentation and the budget.
We'll see.
Just never know.
It's kinda scary.
When she's gonna throw those one-liners out at us.
What I would say is, as you know, we're about in the middle of the session, I guess, and there's still lots of bills being heard. There's still lots of just everything going on. There's a couple of finance bills, of course, one in the House and one in the Senate. I think the House bill is the one that has more traction. I want to say, to begin with, I was actually invited to go to the Capitol a few weeks ago during the Texas Association of School Business Officials conference, and they asked some school business officials to come and meet with the different representatives. Each group, we met with a senator or representative, and it was good information. We were on behalf of TASBO. TASBO doesn't lobby, they just bring the priorities that school districts have on behalf of the whole state. And so they actually read a proclamation that day. I didn't get to hear that because we were in our meetings, but it was good. It was a great opportunity for me to be able to do that. And I guess what we all know is there's not a lot of money in this biennium for any additional money, but I'll tell you what I have so far. Let's see, how do I use this thing? I don't know. This is a new one. Thank you. Just to start out with our budget calendar, as you know, during a legislative year, we're always, things are a little delayed just because of the not knowing a lot of information as far as what we're going to have in revenue, but I do have some preliminary information that I'll share tonight. We have not met with our principals and directors at this time. We're planning to meet with them the first week of April. Hopefully we know a little more by then. Typically we would start that process in February in a non-legislative year when we know pretty much what our budget will be. So we will be meeting with them next week. Of April 18th, we'll give a preliminary budget presentation again, as much as we can know, and as far as what we'll know from the legislator at that time. Plan a budget workshop at the May agenda review. I say date to be determined if we need to have an additional one or change that depending on the session. Give proposed budget information on May 16th and then do the actual adoption on June 22nd. Again, we won't adopt our tax rate until September. I just wanted to give you what our preliminary budget assumptions are. We're estimating 10,888 students for next year, an ADA of about 10,109, 104 for our tax rate. We have our CPTD values from the comptroller at 3.3 billion. We have preliminary property values from the appraisal district right now. They're running at about 3.2 billion. They're still putting information into the tax rolls. The preliminary roll is due to us, the certified preliminary roll at the end of April. So by the April meeting, we won't know by our April meeting, but it'll get closer. By our May meeting, we'll know what our preliminary values are. And of course, our debt service tax rate right now is 40 cents and will, I would guess, stay the same at this point. I always show this little property value history just to show that our values have risen over the last 5 or 6 years. I added a slide this year because we've talked a lot about the state certified property values versus our property values that we actually tax on, and how the state certified property values are what our state aid is based on. So what I wanted to show you in this chart really is, because our state aid is based on the comptroller's values, if those comptroller values are higher than what the appraisal district has, then of course our state aid is reduced, and then our tax collections are what they are based on the values, and it's a year behind. So what I wanted to really show on this is, of course we had the fires in September of 2011. And so when you're looking in this chart, if you're looking at the 2010-11 tax year, they're looking at the certified values from 2010, from 2009. So your 10-11 budget's based on your 2009 property values. So in September of 2011, property values were what they were. And so in 2012 is when all of the 12-13 year, but in the January of 2012 is when all the houses were off the roll from the fires. But as you can see in that budget year, our state property values were high from the prior year. So we lost state aid based on those high property values, and our values were so low because we had lost all those homes. And that was never made up by the state. We asked for help from the state. I know it doesn't make a difference, but I just kind of want to show that's a real good example of how those state property values can hurt you so bad on your state aid and on your property values. I mean, your property values are what they are. Your tax rate is what it is, and so when your state aid is reduced because of that increased state property values, that's just problematic for districts. That was a lot. I hope that made sense, but it's just a problem. And then you can see it's leveled out where the comptroller values are more in line with the district. So those values, the comptroller and the state decides what your values are, and your appraisal district decides what your values are, and there's a difference many times. I wanted to show this chart as well, and this is just our state aid, and this is strictly our foundation and available school fund state aid versus our current and prior year tax collections, because that's what you count when you're doing your state aid template. But just to kind of show you, the blue is our state aid and the orange is our tax collections. So as you can see, in the last couple of years, the state aid has really kind of stayed level. Our property values haven't, our taxes haven't increased that much. I have another slide that'll talk about that as well, but that's just why our budgets have kind of, they're gonna just stay kind of equal. I always like to show our top 10 taxpayers. This is from 2016. We don't have our 2017 yet, but this is just to show you, we've had the conversations about the Gentex power plant going off half value a couple of years ago. The Lost Pines Hyatt is our second taxpayer, and Bastrop Energy Partners is our top taxpayer at this time. What I do want to say is, because you have tax value and have collections and you have a tax rate, but if somebody doesn't pay their taxes or their protests or values, that can be dramatic to your collections and your tax collections. So as we know, the Bastrop Energy Partners has filed a protest on their values. That was for the last 2 years, and so sometimes those lawsuits can take many years to be settled. So we will keep going, we'll keep looking on that, but just to know that potentially the district, if they were to win a lawsuit and they had paid taxes on a certain value and they lowered that value, we could have to refund those. And you can imagine on your top taxpayer, a refund could be quite large. So we have to consider that. You also may remember the Go Green property that's in Page. Their taxes are delinquent for 15 and they have not paid 16s either. But of course we know that property's under bankruptcy. I have a call into our tax attorneys just to get an update on that to see if it might be paid. I'm not sure. So that's problematic though, because those are large tax-paying entities.
Was there an opportunity to file a lien on that property and go green?
The tax attorneys have done that.
Okay.
It's right now, it's all in a bank, in the bank's hand, in a bank's hands right now.
Can you go back one more screen, please?
Mm-hmm.
So the energy partners are at about 151,000 a year. Okay. Thank you.
What I kind of like to show on that is that our top 10 taxpayers make up about 13% of our tax roll. So that's a lot, and if someone doesn't pay their taxes, that can be problematic. This slide's always hard to read, but I like to show it. It just shows our enrollment history and our attendance history to show the growth we've had over the years. 16, 17, of course, is still an estimate as far as ADA. We have our snapshot data, but the actual enrollment is not, you don't have that until the end of the year once you finish the year, but that's just kind of information. You've seen it many times. What I did want to talk about too this month is that this year in 16-17 that Bastrop ISD has been designated as a fast growth district. What designates that are different things. Bastrop, because we've had growth over the last 5 years of more than 10%, that our growth over the last 5 years. So we're, for 2010-11 was the first year, and over the 5 years we've had a 13.3% growth. I do think that had the fires not happened in 2011, we would have been fast growth a couple of years prior. So, I mean, even that year, and you can look back, we had a very small increase that year in 11-12 because the students, but we still had a small increase. So there's 75 districts in Texas that are considered fast growth. And one thing we did receive this year, because we were fast growth and designated and filed for an application, we did receive some additional instructional material allocation money that the TEA had, so that was nice. What I wanted to show you is just some preliminary revenue estimates based on current law, because there is no template that considers any of the new law. That's because they've got some little, I'll show in one of my House bill slides some examples, but just looking at next year based on tax roll that we have and estimates and state aid, you can see where we'll have about $750,000 more in tax revenue. We'll actually have a reduction in state aid based on current law. And so really only additional revenue of $393,000 at this time. So that's not much money to do much with. So we'll keep hoping that something will happen.
Go back to that, Sandra.
Okay.
I mean, and we're streaming, and I don't know who watches this, but when we went through the election, as you you recall, the campaign, there was a lot of rhetoric out there, even some blogs and whatnot, that talked about the fact that you shouldn't ask for any additional money because our appraisals went up so much and the district's gonna get $4 million of additional money. I mean, you made the reference a little while ago about 11 and 11, 12 with the fires, but on any given year, this is a perfect example. Yeah, our values go up and we get a little bit more locally, and then what does the state do? The state pulls back.
Right.
And I need people to understand this, and whether we go down the road 6 months from now, 12 months from now, and try to go out for a bond, or possibly at some point go out for a TRE, there's just a real misconception and misunderstanding about school finance.
Right.
We don't reap the benefit when we get local value increases.
Right.
Because the state always pulls back. And I know you made mention of that, but there's another example right there.
Steve, is this where the TRE would have kicked in? If that had passed, that state aid would have not been, it wouldn't have taken so much?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, if the TRE would have passed, you would have had the additional tax revenue, but you would also receive additional state aid
Okay.
because you get additional, for every penny of extra tax effort you get, you get extra money from the state. They're
Okay.
called golden pennies, and then they're called, well, I don't know what they'll call them anymore, but it's additional money. Basically, when you don't have a $1.17 tax rate, like many districts do in the state, you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah, and that's what I
That-
talked about during the campaign. You heard me say it several times.
Right.
If you don't maximize your local effort, then
Okay.
the state will not give you the maximum that they're gonna give you. So
Okay.
that money was sitting there earmarked for us, and we couldn't get it because we didn't maximize our local effort with that extra 13 cents.
So on your total revenues, the difference, Kelly, would have been a little over 7 million if we had had a TRE pass.
If we had had the TRE max, we would have gotten the full
Se- yeah,
7
7
million.
million.
Okay, all right,
What are you?
And 3 would have been from the state.
okay.
What are you considering intermediate revenue up there by local?
Local and intermediate, that, intermediate is like miscellaneous revenue, athletic revenue, building use, tuition for driver's ed. There's a lot of different categories, but of course, the main category in local is your tax
Gotcha.
collections, yeah.
Like when we have a track meet from outside and they
Any
use the
athletics.
stadium or something like that too?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The House bill, I spoke a little bit about, House Bill 1, and that's what Representative Huberty is, 21, what did I say? Oh, 1, I think it's House Bill 1, 21. All of these have a lot of different things to them. I just picked a few items out, but basically, House Bill 21, it would increase the basic allotment, but it would eliminate the transportation, the high school, and the staff salary allotment. Not sure if that'll happen. They say for Bastrop, that would be about $472,000 in additional state aid, or for us, it was like $35 per WADA. Some schools received, they said it averaged about $100 per student for many schools. We were on the low end of that. What I think about that is possibly is on the transportation allotment, that would hurt us because we have such high transportation costs. We get so little money on the transportation allotment to start with. So I'm not sure because that's when you have neighborhood schools and they don't transport students 420 miles, their transportation costs are very low compared to ours with gas and everything else. This House Bill 21 does add a dyslexia allotment, like we have a special ed allotment and a comp ed. And then what it also provides is a grant program to provide transition aid. So basically schools that are hurt by this then can file for some grant and possibly get some extra help and get some extra revenue, like districts that are, you've heard me talk about that, additional state aid for the tax reduction, or they call it ASETAR, for districts that were still receiving extra state aid for tax reduction. We are not one of those districts, we are formula, but some districts stand to lose a lot of money because ASETAR goes away in 17-18, so they have to have some way to accommodate that.
So, Sandra, so basically what you're saying is the increase that we might get from this House Bill 21 would be offset by basically our transportation costs. It's likely that it would be.
I mean, if they're taking that if they're taking that transportation, high school, and staff salary allotment, there's other things, and they're just putting into the basic allotment, to me, that could hurt us, yes, because
Okay.
our transportation costs are higher than other districts.
Right, and so, but they're saying there will be a grant that you can apply for, but of course you don't know, that might just bring us back to where we were.
And that's gonna be based on the highest needs. That's gonna be on the critical needs. Another thing House Bill 21 does suggest that they'll do to save money, which a lot of legislative sessions do, is they'll delay your August 2019 payment, which that does.
But they say down the road, that's gonna
Yeah, that'll
be
help
not
somehow.
good, yeah, okay.
It's not hurtful to us because we have a fund balance. To a school district that needs their state aid in August, that could be
That would
problematic.
be a problem, okay.
And Senate Bill 2145, I really didn't put anything because it completely revamps the whole system. It gets rid of the tiers, it gets rid of, it talks about a basic allotment, there's no number in it, so I can't really speak to that. I've tried to read and I just can't get much out of it, so, yeah, I think it's still in the works. But so basically, our budget process, as always during a legislative session, is to continue to monitor the legislature, monitor our enrollment attendance, of course, for the rest of the year, and waiting for our property values. And of course, prioritize our needs when we meet with our principals and our departments. Of course, curriculum is always very involved in our budget process as well. So that's about all I have this time. If you have any other questions.
Thank you.
You have any questions? Big numbers?
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra.
Board, in your packet there, you have the personnel report for information only. Operations and Police Department, there'll be no report. Chief Yarborough, good news, they feel safe over there at the high school, so that's awesome. Thank you and your officers for all your hard work, we appreciate it. And no report on communications. Mr. Murray, anything else for you under your report?
No, just ready to go to consent when you're ready.
All right. Would any board member like to pull any additional consent agenda item for discussion? If nobody would, I would at this time entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda A through E as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda is passed. Number 4 are action items. Ms. Lee?
You have the election judges that we need to approve. And unless you have any questions, I recommend that the board approve the appointment of election judges and clerks for the trustee election on May 6, 2017 as presented.
I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the election judges as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
When we get closer to that time frame, we will have to select a date for canvassing the votes, but we can't do that at this time. So that will be added at a later date. I have a proclamation I want to read for your consideration. Whereas the students of our state's public schools hold the promise of a successful future in their capable hands, and whereas the Bastrop Independent School District provides the tools, framework, and solid foundation that is vital towards the future of our children, and whereas the dedicated efforts of parents, educators, school leaders, and business and community partners will provide the necessary support and strength to our public schools, providing our children a quality education, and whereas students will attain a higher level of achievement because of the commitment to excellence and focus on continued improvement in our public schools. And therefore, the members of the Board of Trustees of the Bastrop Independent School District do urge all citizens to support the theme of the power of public by taking the time to visit local schools to share the impact public education has had for them and their community. And now, therefore, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Bastrop Independent School District, do proclaim March 2017 as the month to celebrate Texas public schools. And if that's acceptable to you, then I recommend the Board of Trustees approve the proclamation to celebrate Texas public schools in the month of March 2017 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second to approve the proclamation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Mr. Murray,
Yes, the last few years, folks, we've chosen to not have a July board meeting. We typically have a lot of people out the middle of the summer for vacations and whatnot. We did double check in our last two cabinet meetings to make sure that wasn't going to be problematic with anything going on with the budget, or we would already passed our budget by then, obviously, with us being a July 1 budget district. But so at this time, we ask that you consider our recommendation to cancel the regular board meeting scheduled for July 18, 2017.
I make a motion that we cancel the scheduled July board meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Ms. Callahan?
Thank you.
Tonight, we're asking the board to approve an attendance waiver for low attendance on February 16th. Our attendance that day was 69.65, and our last year's attendance was 95.2. You can ask for a waiver if your attendance for one day is less than 10% of the year before. We asked the board to approve that, but then we in turn have to go and file that waiver with TEA. Not sure that'll be approved or not, but we'll go through the process and see what happens.
Is this the only day that we've had an attendance that low that we're able to file a waiver for?
Yes, this year so far.
Thank you.
This time I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. That we approve the attendance, the low attendance waiver.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, at this time, just right quick, student advisory panel here, just a little bit of information. I don't know if you know this. So when you or your fellow students aren't at school, we don't get paid by the state, so we lose money. And so, anyways, as y'all are communicating and tweeting and all those things out there, and I know a lot of them are very important topics, and people are very passionate about those. But yes, we're basically, luckily, we can get a waiver. And so I do know that our attendance since those days has been down as well. So encourage others, because y'all are leaders, to please come to school, because we need the money to pay your teachers and the police department and everybody else. So.
And you might miss something too.
Right, yes.
You miss school, you miss out, right?
You miss out. Sarah
Now,
has
these
a
students don't
question.
miss school.
No, I
They
know.
don't miss school.
Sarah.
Yes, Sarah.
Was February 16th the immigration protest day?
Yep.
Yes.
I was just wondering.
Yes.
I'm surprised that it was, that senior skip day wasn't as low.
Seniors don't skip.
Senior skip day, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've never heard of that
That's
before.
never, ever existed.
Y'all talk to y'all's principals about that beforehand. Yeah, when is it?
Yeah, when is it?
They've already had it.
It's over.
It's over.
Well,
That is a myth that's been around a long time.
Well, thank you very much for
Some
being there.
senior skip day, some.
Absolutely. Before we go into information items, does any board have any more questions for the?
I do. I have a couple of questions for Adriana. You said you want to get a business degree.
Yes.
And in what aspect of business are you interested?
Business management for my bachelor's, and I'm going back to get my master's in strategic business, I believe.
Strategic planning type thing? And do you have any idea what type of business setting you want to?
I want to open my own photography business and company and kind of start branching out. And then once I get it going, my actual plan is to start going to low budget schools and start in photography, like class and club, because I know a lot of schools don't have it, and like our school doesn't have one. And that would help me a lot, because I'm learning on my own rather than I could have been taking it in school. So that's my goals.
Okay. And Heath, you say you're also interested in photography?
Yes.
What is your interest in that?
Really, I just want to, get out there and just take pictures of of different places and maybe turn them into contests and stuff.
I'm a photographer. It's the reason I ask these questions, because it's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. The thing that I've always treasured about photography is that there's so many different things you can do with that as a tool, whether it's an end product piece that you're talking about, the fine print that you might submit to a contest and hope to win recognition for, or whether it's the process and personally, educational process of photography is hugely important as well, and then it can be applied to all these other interests that people have too, with like it's a visual medium, just like theater is in a lot of ways. It communicates non-verbally, and so it's that to me has always been an important aspect of that pursuit, and I'm glad to hear people are interested in doing it with something hopefully other than an iPhone too. They still do make cameras, and I recommend if you're really going to get serious about working with that, learning it in depth, you want to get a camera that does as little for you as it possibly can, so that you learn what every single control is that you have in the process of photography, because it makes a big difference in the way things turn out at the end, and in your level of engagement and involvement in the process and in the final product. And I think that's good. I don't remember, Jenny, what did you say that you were doing?
I want to major in radiation therapy.
Radiation therapy, that's
Yeah.
right, because my son is in medical state, and he wants to be a radiation oncologist. He's in medical school right now, and there's a lot to that.
I know.
Have you had any experience with it yourself or your family?
No, it's absolutely something new, but I like the challenges. I think I'm ready to go, and I'm excited actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even dealing with sick and very sick people is not.
Yeah.
That's because that can be.
It's gonna be hard, but I like helping people. I like being that type of person. Like, I've been a leader, so I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy what I do a lot.
Now, by the time you get out of school, we're gonna need you, this board.
That's right.
Sorry.
Whoever these older people.
These
are.
older
Oh,
people
Hockey
might
Russell
need to
Bowl.
come to.
I have a question for Natalia. Now, Natalia, you remember one time before, don't look at me like you're scared. Come on. Been around me too long to look scared. So you remember you were going to go to school in Texas at one time, and then you got to go to the White House. And so you said, now I think I want to go out of state. Now you've been to Italy. So still want to go to school somewhere out of state, but I want to travel the world more now that you've been doing it.
I was always thinking of studying abroad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I actually, since I'm a Spanish speaker, it was easy. It wasn't easy, but it was very similar. They're very similar. So when I was in Italy, people were like, "Oh, parle italiano." And I was like, "What?" Oh, you mean? And I have this app. I took this app. So.
Well, Ms. McClure just got back from Spain.
Yes.
Oh, that's one place I want.
Right. And we did try a little Spanish, but their Spanish is quite different. But they did understand. They said, yeah, you're doing okay.
But like when I went there, I was asking what kind of gelato, like kind of ice cream we ate because it was delicious. And they're like, "Oh, you speak Italian? You're American." I'm like, "No, my parents are Mexicans." But it was a nice experience.
I
And
bet
now
it
I
was.
actually want to learn Italian.
Yeah.
And I'm actually rethinking again. So I'm thinking of actually applying to UT.
Yeah, girl.
And getting my bachelor's there, because in ACC we get what's it called? We can sign up for government classes, and I want to get as much credit as I can, and then just transfer it. And like I know for sure that they will transfer because it's in state. So I want to go to UT, and then maybe if they accept me, go to George Washington University because they have a dual degree program for master's and JD. So.
Yeah, for the folks that don't know Natalia and where she goes to school, she will graduate next year with her high school diploma and her associate's degree. You will, don't you?
My history class is pretty.
You'll graduate just so you don't have to come any more board meetings, is what you'll.
She likes it. See, she even hung out with us.
Yeah,
She wasn't
she
even
did.
scheduled
She
to be
did.
here. She hung out with us.
I ran into her recently, and she said, "I really enjoy going to board meetings." I'm glad to hear that. She'll be a good board member someday somewhere where she lives.
Right.
And Sarah, one more time, your interest is
Nursing.
yeah,
and,
nursing, right?
My mom and you're gonna become a nurse, you're not gonna make that much money, because they don't their first couple of years. So I'm thinking of specializing in labor and delivery for my first couple of years there, and then possibly going back to school and pursuing a master's degree and becoming a nurse practitioner, or possibly an OBGYN, because I do like really enjoy like the labor and delivery unit.
Have you done work or volunteer work or rotation work through that?
I've been trying to do as much as I can because UT like expects so much,
Yeah.
And I want to be prepared. This will be my third year volunteering at St. David South Austin Medical Center, and I also have been working at Robert Doherty's office for the last 2 years as a medical assistant.
Wow.
And,
That's great.
this school year, I'll be getting my certification in phlebotomy, along with the other 2 that I had from last year, which was billing and coding and medical assistant.
Well-
Miss Harrison, by the way, just some praise, because this is what Steve Murray taught us. Miss Harrison at Bastrop High School and the health department is amazing, and she's always like trying to get new opportunities for us. So
Well,
I think
Sarah,
the last
just
physical I got over there was from y'all's people over there. We're observing a grant for the Bastrop Education Foundation, and my blood pressure checked. And I said, "You're in trouble." But that's us older people are going to be looking forward to seeing what you can do for us down the line as well. But best of luck in that.
20 years, like I've been thinking about the labor and delivery, but I don't know, in 20 years, the baby boomer generation is gonna be, getting older.
Needing,
Might wanna go
needing a
geriatrics.
lot of it. Well, it's good to know that you guys are gonna be taken care of. That's all I'm saying.
Sarah, absolutely. And look,
What's going on over there?
they're feeling left out over here. Just a little bit of information. I just probably not only surprise you, it'd probably surprise everybody in this room. And so I did EMS for 9.5 years and actually delivered over 8 babies.
Oh, really?
So if I can do it, you can do it.
I'd rather have her do it right now.
I've even been thinking about midwifery, because that was what I initially wanted to do, because they kind of follow the woman along more throughout the process of it, which is more of what I'm interested in, being a caretaker and following and monitoring someone. And they deliver babies now too. Which is
Right.
really cool.
Yeah, we didn't have that type of controlled environment. We were driving really fast with lights and sirens, but it was, a little bit more excitement. So, fantastic. All right, any more questions? All right, thank you, each and every one of you, for being here tonight. It means a lot. Thanks for all y'all's help, for time you take out meeting with Mr. Murray, and your open communication. And please, if you want to stay around and ask the board any questions, please do that. I would encourage you, don't talk to Billy tonight, because social media wise, you're not gonna catch him. All right, let's move into
Send
our,
a carrier pigeon with something.
is that, let's move into our information items there. Board, you have your district-wide calendar, as well as the enrollment numbers there. Also the BISD 2017-2018 school calendar, and as well as some TASB policy updates. All that is for information only. Any questions about that?
I was hoping Barry was going to read us all that TASB stuff. Yeah, I noticed that. Thank you.
All right, if there are no questions in regards to any of that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
second, my motion is second. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
y'all.
Thank you all.
Thank y'all.
And I'm wrong.
They were outstanding once again.
I know. It's just so enriching. I mean, it really is. It's